Hi there, I'm Mark again. This is my first rant, so I'm not going to say the word fuck nearly enough. This is something that starts out as a personal trauma, but I think I'm going to lead off or end off with something that has the potential to affect all of us. We spend a lot of time trying to explain to people what our job is, especially internally, trying to explain to designers and artists and such. And when I brought this question up in the guild, there were a lot of responses about the less insidious side of this. This is obviously this is an AI bug when it is clearly a content bug. The animation is running funny because they didn't put in the triggers right or whatever. But what I'm talking about more is when you have to explain what it is you do or justify what it is you do to the people that are actually giving you money or keeping you in a job. And the problem is that there's a tendency to look at all this all the stuff we do as an SEP, as somebody else's problem. So what ended up happening, and this is a particularly weird and unpleasant experience. I worked for a large French unnamed multinational game development company, unnamed. And there's a very particular approach that they have to AI. That is that they like to lump together AI and canned events and cutscenes and even gameplay and call that AI. And this is kind of a problem because in a lot of cases they expect you to fix the bugs that are associated with these things that aren't AI. And when there are problems and then conversely, when there are problems with these things, it's the AI developers that get blamed. So looking at this and talking with a number of people, I couldn't really figure out if this was a problem of a large French multinational unnamed company, or if it's a French problem, though talking with Ericsson, he did say that there is something in the French culture that leads to this, but it might also be a Europe problem. Regardless, because of this fighting back and forth that we had going on, there was a lot of contention between our office in the US and the home office in France. And it led to lots of conflict, and it wasn't an awful lot of fun, especially if you were on the AI team. During this time, right around this time, I became really ill and ended up having to leave the company, and this is a good thing. Because in order to fix our problems with the AI, this large, unnamed French multinational company decided that they were going to send us an expert to shadow over us and fix all the problems that we had. An expert. Definitely an expert. Okay, so we're like, not very keen. This is being reported back to me by various people. So the expert shows up, and they send us an animator. Not a game programmer, not an AI programmer, not an animation engineer, an animator. And we're in the middle of trying to do squad-based tactics. We're trying to deal with things like intelligently using cover, not shooting your buddy, keeping spacing right, doing suppression fire. His single best piece of advice he had to give us was make them look more human. And that really, it really ended up being the ultimate insult to us. And so in talking about this, I ran into a colleague in the hall, and he said that this is a lot like what happened a few years back with physics, where there's all these physics APIs, middleware. Obviously, physics is going to be the easiest thing in the world to do because the middleware does it for you, and now we're seeing that same thing with AI. But I think there's an even more insidious thing. It's that we're seeing more and more CEOs of large companies that have no contact with the game industry whatsoever. They don't give a fuck what you do. They just want to see the bottom line. And as has been said, with these the AI is sort of stealthy in a way. The best that we can do is not get bad AI reviews. As a result, the game's already sold, when the AI bugs start getting reported, so it doesn't really matter to them. So what we really need is some sort of advocate, slightly higher